Hello, it's Thanos, and I'm patching the Dark Easel. This is session number 2. If you have seen session number 1, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue with where I was, and this is genuinely the next time that I am going to listen to this patch exactly the way I've left it the previous session. So I seriously haven't opened it for 2 days. So of course I vaguely remember, and I was working on the video, so I remember how it sounds like, but not the details. And of course, every time you turn the modular on, it will sound different. There is nothing you can do about that. So, and that's what we like. Actually, it's part of the nature of modular. Maybe there is something in there that's better. That's something or a little detail that you didn't notice the previous time. So the goal of this session now is to follow up to what we've done the previous time. The previous time was around a half an hour, so I'm going to try to see how long I'm going to uh, do this session. Maybe another half an hour or maybe less. We'll see how it goes. But the goal now, I have a goal, is to refine what I've done before. So I'm not gonna repatch and I'm not gonna change too much. I'm gonna maybe add things or refine the settings. And first of all, we are going to listen. And I'm going to start with the zero coast. The zero coast is here on the second channel. And I'm gonna turn the master on. That's it. So it's being sequenced by the zero control, and on this step we have a kick. Why? Because it's connecting the gate output of that step particularly with the linear FM inputs. Now I've added tiny bit of the overtones that some faulty cable, that's for sure. Whoa, crazy things are happening. How cool is that? Something's happening with this keyboard. I had this trouble before too. It's somehow, there is some noise in it. Anyway, I added a little bit of the overtones just to get a little bit richer sound. If you turn this more on, you hear the kick is not there anymore. So just a tiny bit, just to get a little bit of a richer sound. Now, the first thing I can do is to add the effects like we did in the previous session. You can't see them on this camera angle, but I thought it's much better to see things from above. But it's the same effects chain that I had in the previous session. So there's a little bit of a delay, which is so short delay time that it's almost like a reverb, and like a preamp that adds some gain. Now, generally, I like this. I'm just gonna play a little bit with the overtone and the multiply, just to see if I can get an even better tone. Now, refining this means also something else. It means that I'm going to be focusing on recording this eventually as a track, as a live track, as a live performance. So I'm gonna see if any of these changes that I'm doing are also interesting to do for a live performance. So for example, the overtone. Let's see what happens. I will turn it completely. Oh, interesting. So you can see it's completely anti-clockwise. That's a very interesting sound, actually. I'm just gonna turn it slowly on. where it was. I'm gonna remove this cable. There it is, you see? Whoa. This crazy stuff is happening. Ghosts are taking over. Why? This is crazy. So suddenly, the sound from my zero coast. It's faulty cables. My apologies for that. Yeah, cables, you know the story. There it goes. We're back. I'll continue with overtones. And of course that's just a little bit on the balance, just a little bit. You see how much it changes. It was very interesting when I was I like that just before the kick, how much more clear is what happens to the pitch on this, and a little bit I like it there. I like it there. I'm going to play with the multiply. That's definitely one performance setting that you can just tweak while you're recording the track. Multiply. I'll go back to number 1. I think I like it there. Yes. Now, of course, an idea is to use some modulation to change the parameters, the overtone and the multiply. Let's see if it's something interesting to do. Just gotta get my cables out. I'll try. I try to use these cables, which give me the opportunity to repatch multiple connections. So yeah, the random is my favorite way. Of course, we can turn the slope up, and we can use the slope, but maybe we can use the slope. Ooh. Wow, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So there's the slope is influencing the sound right now. Oh, this is cool. And I haven't even turned the effects out. Now I need less of the effects, just because the sound is better. More interesting, at least for me. This is your personality. This is where you put your own work in it. This is your aesthetics. This is your goal, what you want to achieve. I'm gonna send, maybe even from the zero control, like a tempo, just to get random outputs here. So for example, on the overtone, Not very interesting, huh? Yes, so this is giving me more variation. Take your time, listen. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I kind of like this monotonous. Yeah, I think I like this. Another thing we can do is send random into the time input of the slope. Now we're getting FM frequency modulation. Ooh. Yeah. Maybe if I attenuate the randomness, I can get just really tiny variations. I have this little cable for that, just to have the random going to this section of the zero coast, and then I can send this into the time, the slope. Maybe inverted. Yeah, this is interesting. You can see here the lamp from the light from the slope. I'm changing a little bit the timing there. Ooh. This is changing a lot. Just a little tweak of the knob further. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see without it, just to go back. I leave this cable here. Maybe this is something I want to do during the performance. I can start with a monotonous sound, just a hypnotizing sound, and then slowly start changing things. I like this. This is a great foundation for the track. So that was it. That was the zero coast. Now we did how much? Let me see the time in the video. I can't see anything here. Where is it? Yes, 14 minutes, 15 minutes almost. Of course, this is a different procedure, so I'm not starting from scratch. I'm already on a way to somewhere, and I'm trying just to define the way, and this is very satisfactory for me too. So patching from scratch with no idea, it's very beautiful. Also, it's very adventurous. This is more about listening. Like, this is where this deep listening, normally I would take even more time to just listen and listen to the characteristics of the sound. What is it that makes it appealing? What do I like it? I have these questions for myself. Let's see if this cable is okay. Yes, it's fine. Maybe there was something else that was causing the problem. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Strega. Oh yeah, I remember this. Of course, that was complementary to the zero cost eventually, and it is synced, so we can use it together as one big interesting sound. I like the sounds. I like all the range of the frequencies. I have very low and very high frequencies too. So I'm not gonna touch any basic things. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna play with a filter. I'm going to play with the absorb, because I remember that was a very important part of this sound. And the mix, maybe it's what happens when the blend. So this is the sound of the Strega Drive, and a completely different sound because, like I said in the previous session, the delay section here is the heart of the instrument. So this is not very interesting. The filter, should I touch it? Yes, you should know before you touch it where it was. So don't go looking for the sound that you had before. I'm just gonna go full on. Yeah, I got a bigger range. Yeah, I'm losing, of course, some of the low frequencies. Yeah, so this is less extreme with the frequencies, but I still get some raw frequencies there in the low register. And here it becomes more defined. The idea is very defined here. So I'm just gonna leave it there. See what happens with the absorb. I'm just gonna turn it completely down because it's now completely clockwise. Yes, I remember that. That was very different. But I do like this. I don't know, it's gonna remind me of ripping paper, but in a kind of like with filter, taking out all the high frequencies from that action. And I'll just turn it up a little bit. We hear some of the high frequencies coming in. That's definitely a performance setting here, the absorb, something we can change. What happens now with the absorb anti-clockwise and the decay? Not a lot, maybe a little bit of absorb and decay. Yes, so these are both settings that are really good for performances. Decay doesn't have such a drastic effect on the sound, but maybe also interesting to send some modulations, even from the zero coast or from that slope here, which I kind of love because it just changed my sound here in such an amazing way. So I'm just gonna try to send the slope I don't know, end of cycle maybe. What happens to the decay? Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? Who would have thought? I'm just getting immediately like a huge low frequency there. Now what happens with the absorb? I'm just gonna take this cable out just to see. You hear it. You hear what happens. Just I'm sending the end of cycle from slope into the decay with that input turned completely anti-clockwise. You can just go search why this happens, or you can just do it and listen. I prefer to do it this way. The other way around, it's not interesting. What happens if I turn completely clockwise and the decay also? Nothing. So just leave it there. This is amazing. Okay. What did I want to do? I wanted to send this to the absorb. The same thing. Why not? Nothing really happens with the absorb. As you can see, some things just are made to be matched together and some things not. On the other hand, the slope output, it brings that rhythm from the slope into the absorb, and that's interesting. And that's interesting because I'm inserting constantly more frequencies, more sounds into that already, the sound that I have already. So I'm not really, it's not like I'm changing the sound, I'm just adding things to the sound. So eventually what you need to do with this system, because it's such a minimal system, is that you need to create sounds that are rich, that are interesting. So Strega has one sound, one output. Zero Cost has another output. If you make these two really interesting and that they just match with each other, obviously, you got something interesting. No, you got something really good. So I'm just injecting things into the sound that I already have and see what happens. So let's turn the volume up again. I get here some really interesting high frequencies too. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit funny. I don't like funny sounds. But I'm going to play now with the filter. A completely different sound. Okay, we tried that. It's interesting. I want to send again the random output from the Zero Cost in here. It's because Maybe it doesn't do that. Anything from this side? Yeah, no, I don't think I want to change the setting here because it worked really well with zero cost. No, not interesting. No, that's too funny. So I am going to inject the slope in here. I'm trying to decide if I like that slide with the high frequency. Yo, yo, yo. Well, maybe now it's time to combine these two. Or first, I'm just gonna open the effect chain. Ah, that's you hear now with just a little bit of the delay. It's kind of make these high frequencies like a bubbly sounds. This is very interesting. That's interesting. I like that. Okay. So another performance element, the way I set this thing up is I have also the mixer, and this is also a part of my performance. So what am I going to turn first on? The effects end I'm gonna turn also on, and from which channel first? So I have a lot of sounds to work with. So it's not only the zero coast and the strega, it's the zero coast through the effect change also. So for example, the strega. Maybe it's a good intro. You want a little bit of a buff, a little bubble buff. Or maybe the zero coast. That's not very different from the dry sound. It's more just to give it more wide sound, and the kick to help the kick has a bigger impact. So yeah, the effect sent from the zero coast, it's not something that I could use independently, I think. So let's see if these two sounds now complement each other. So let's say I turn up slowly the zero coast, and I'm starting the track with the zero coast. I'm just gonna stop talking for a little bit so we can hear. Some noisy pods. This mixer needs to be cleaned. I shouldn't have touched it. Anyway, maybe I'll just do a little bit like that. Yeah, I kind of don't like it that the strega is going so, I don't know, so fast. Like in every step, it's kind of like a bit too much for me. I do like the zero coast. I think with the zero cost I'm very close. And as I can see, we're reaching the half an hour, so I think we are a step further from where we were. It's gonna play a little bit with the strega. So, yes, so I will stop now with this video. I think I arrived to a point where eventually the Strega fits better with the Zero Coast. The sound that I had with the Strega alone, it was interesting with these bubble sounds and this beautiful raw frequencies, but eventually these low frequencies, they were, when the Zero Coast is on, they were just disappeared, and they wouldn't complement each other. So of course I can do another approach. I can use another approach. I can have the Zero Coast having an intro and then the Strega taking over slowly. So it doesn't have to be constantly the two of them together, that's for sure. But in this case now I do have the Strega having this intense sound, like kind of like electric guitars with distortions, and then the Zero Coast has the rhythmic element and the bass element, and then some together. Together they do have something interesting for sure. It's not a track yet. I'm not there yet. I need to maybe change my approach. Maybe the rhythm has to change. Maybe because that from a Strega, it is cool for a little bit, but maybe I need to find a trick where it changes throughout the performance. Although the Zero Coast stays the same, the Strega somehow its behavior changes radically through the track. So I'm gonna leave you now. You've seen a little bit how the process is. This is step 2, so session 2 from the same patch that we started in session 1. And of course it's a long video, but you see everything in real time. So eventually I have here the computer, and in the computer I have an additional delay and a reverb that I usually use as like mastering effects, really tiny. And I know that the delay in a certain setting complements rhythmical, snappy, quick sounds, and the reverb helps the sounds like from the Strega to just grow just a tiny bit more, get a little bit more room, more stereo image, and eventually it will help this whole track to sound even more complete. But I'm not turning them on because I want the basic elements here to be exactly right, and I want the performance to sound exactly right, and then I will add the effects in the post-production. So not to trick my ears that whatever I do sounds good. So that's my approach. Now I'm gonna leave you, and I'll see you maybe a session 3, maybe with the same patch again, maybe with a new one, who knows. Till the next one, bye.